All right. This is Sword of Convallaria. Convallaria? Yeah, Sword of Convallaria. That is a hell of a name. I'll tell you that much. But I started playing this game. Oh, I see. I was supposed to. I see. I know. Screwed up on that one. I see what I was supposed to do. Well, it's a bit late for that. I'm just chill right here. Like I have a choice. But you notice anything here? Like, I specifically waited to see what this game would be like before I reserved any judgments, right? So I've been playing it for a good day. Even though it's technically like the second day. I can get both of them here. There we go. Easy. But it's very reminiscent of Final Fantasy Tactics 2, which is pretty interesting. I'm gonna wait here and hopefully this dude takes the bait. Nope. That's fine. But you have jobs and they have, you know, skill trees within the skill trees, but it's like, this is like super simplified. Final Fantasy Tactics, like, it was like, you just got absurdly overpowered, bro. Like, the amount of classes and jobs that you could put together is like insane. Here it's like it's similar, but you know, there's caveats. Like, obviously they don't give everything right away, but at some point, yeah, you do get as overpowered as you do in Final Fantasy Tactics. The difference being is that I believe the game's gonna, like, the game obviously is going to scale. They have to. It's a live game. They're gonna scale up the difficulty as you get stronger, but ultimately you should, as long as you're keeping up, it doesn't matter whether you're free to play or not. You should be able to keep up with the game as long as you play, like, mostly every day. The reason I say that is because of the way they have this set up. Like Clash, right? You get 5 attempts every day. You cannot refresh with currency. So it's locked behind you playing every day. So, excuse me. That is a game mode. Like, you have to be present for this, or you just don't get this. And it's like, I don't see a world where you wouldn't. It just doesn't make sense when, like, look at the the rewards that you get as you go. And I'm not entirely sure what it is, like how much of this like you actually have to do to get to these points, but we have like a full month. So I imagine within a month you should be able to hit Radiance. Like every single month you hit Radiance, right? So there's that. There's also, like I said, the game, it has skill trees, and the classes have, you know, what they have, like all of these skills here and these jobs, right? And certain factions have, you know, certain classes have the same sort of skills. So like a defender and a watcher, right? They pretty much have like similar skills. Like there's just classes where they have sorry, not watcher. What are you? A paladin, right? Okay, so the class, the job. She doesn't. It's weird. She's like one of those special. You know how like the main character has their default class, and then you could just kind of branch out into whatever you want to be, and like it's like that with her, except she's already set into one. And they have factions as well, so they get bonuses within the factions and all that good stuff. And then so like paladin and the defender, basically, they have similar skills. Somewhat similar skills. Am I mixing these up? Yeah, I am. Not where is it? Here we go. So this Knighted Lancer has similar skills with the paladin for whatever reason. But this character also has like similar skills, but it's like not quite the same. So like leg slam, you're not going to target by 2 tiles, and then they have a debuff, right? And then you have this as well, where you get like a lot more range in where you could do it. So wherever you are, as opposed to like this 1 tile here, it's extended by an extra 2. So you have the liberty of being within 3 tile ranges of the character, and then you can still hit them, which is like insane. It's just a really buff version of it, right? But then this character also has the same thing, except it's the lower version. But this is a lower rarity, as you can see here. There's legendary, epic, rare, and common. But I wouldn't get too hung up on the ratings, the rarities of the characters, because I've been using this character. I honestly, at like within the first couple of hours, I just wrote this character off like the first hour and a half, and then like after, I'm like, okay, they made me use this character. It's actually really good. Let me use this character. So it's stuff like that where you essentially can just build your character how you want them to an extent, right? The classes and the subclasses within the classes, that's where the ranks come in. Then you have these additional trinkets here. They call it the terror whispers, but it's like there's added effects that you get. This one, you can see you just get a flat damage buff, which is like pretty good. And then when you cast skills for each enemy that you hit, in addition to it, you can increase it up to 20. So 4% per enemy hit, up to 20. And I did have footage of me doing that in arena, but it got corrupted. So yeah, it didn't save, which is unfortunate. So I wasn't able to show that off. But yeah, when you're able to do stuff like that, it's pretty good. It's pretty darn good. So this is what I was talking about. Like you do have the liberty of going from it's a simplified variant to where like you're not overwhelmed with the skill tree like in those games. Be it at least the older Diablos, the newer ones, it's like yeah, but not really, because like you really don't have that many options. It's kind of simplified like this. So this one is more like it's good. It's easy to keep people's attention, but you do get options here, and where like you can. It's usually like between defensive and offensive, typically, or like offensive with utility, or defensive with some offensive capabilities, or any mix between those, between offense, defense, utility. You know what I mean? Utility meaning debuffs, buffs, all that sort of stuff. So, given that, it's from what I've seen the first couple of days, because I did want to wait a few days before I even, went ahead and made any sort of video on this. It's interesting. I enjoy it. I've been enjoying it for a while. I think on Steam I have I have 22 hours played into this game, and it's day 2. So essentially, I've been playing like the entire time. And I say day 2 with asterisk because we had, I think it launched 8 o'clock, and then the reset was 4 hours. So technically, I only missed 4 hours. I technically missed quote unquote 4 hours if you're going by from there up to now, which isn't completely accurate, obviously. Did it release yesterday? Actually, that is accurate. Holy shit. I was trying to downplay it to make it not seem like I've been playing this nonstop. I slept for 4 hours, and I've been playing games in between this too. That's the only reason there's any delay between it. But obviously, it's been more than 24 hours that this game has been out. Surely, it's definitely been more. By the time I make this video, absolutely it has been. Was it July 31st? I'm pretty sure it was July. When the hell did this game release? Oh my goodness. I gotta know when. Oh yeah, July 31st. Okay, so I wasn't and I'm not entirely out of my mind. I did sleep. I did do other things. I gotta give myself some leeway. That should just let you know, yeah, this game's legit, right? It's the first day got up to rank 22. This day we're rank 25. I haven't dipped into my stamina like that yet. As you can see, I've only hit it twice, and I got some of the logins. I also haven't been using my my stamina like that. I exhaust this out and then do what needs to be done. I actually got really lucky. Excuse me, not really lucky. I got bestowed a wonderful gift, right? I got bestowed a spectacular gift when I went to the summons. The very first multi I got was Gloria, and that was all I was looking for, and I was prepared to keep re-rolling for her. I've spent pretty much all of these secret fates. I've used all of them to attempt to get more. I have not been so lucky with that. Which is, it is what it is. But I got it, I got the character, so for me, it's it's fine. Right? I'm unsure if, there's no reason not to. I'm of the mind of, I can get this when I want it, right? That's how I basically feel about it. I can get this when I'm ready to get this, because there's so many other opportunities to do so. I just, spend my resources properly, and then I'm able to get it when I need to, right? There's a lot. You unlock these as you go. What I would say for anyone playing, use your stamina and your resources to push the fool's journey. This is what you do. I know I did a lot of freaking yapping. A lot of freaking yapping, but this is what you should be doing. Push the story as much as you can to unlock all the features, get stronger that way. Then and only then do you start diving into other game modes like Clash and Voyage, into the Crossing Worlds and the Spiral of Destinies. The Spiral of Destinies is a completely different mode. It's not going to carry over any of your stats or abilities. that you have from the regular game, except the characters that you have acquired, that does carry over. Outside of that, everything else is pretty much set to default. Like, you're starting the game over. This is a completely different world, and it has a completely different currencies in which you use. So these keys are gonna stack up like a lot. You don't need to worry about this at all. You don't need to use them ASAP. That's not how this game mode works. So if you're worried about that, you don't need to be. They don't really explain it at all here. They don't explain it well enough. Just know that you're gonna get like a lot of keys. You don't need to use your currency for that. I would say to save up your currency. Do not use your currency. You're gonna be using this a lot. You just need to like stockpile this. Do not use this for summoning. You can get through the game just fine with what they give you. And the reason for that is all you have to do is wait for this at like if you're starting this game out, if you don't get Gloria or whatever it is that you're looking for that's not on the beginner banner with the first multi that you get, sync the rest of these secret fates into the beginner banner for SSR. That's really what you should be doing, and then secure Gloria, even though Gloria leaves before the banner does. Unless you played like right when the game launched, you won't have Fakel or Faycal. I'm pretty sure it's Faycal, even though it's Faycal, but they at least I'm just going off the Japanese pronunciation, the way they say it. Pretty sure it's Faycal. But Beryl's like pretty much one of the best units in the game. Gloria's one of the best units in the game. Ayana's one of the best units in the game that you can get your hands on. Cole is another one who's one of the best units in the game and stays that way for a while. So it's really just like, it's up to you. And it's not like you can't use other characters very well. It's just what you're set out to do. It's in your best interest to pretty much go for those characters. Either Gloria, Ayana, Beryl, or Cole. And then there's, tiers below that, which is, pretty good. You get Maita for free, you get Fakel for free, you get, what is her name? Waria for free. I would not recommend any free-to-play players to touch this at all. Just don't do it, man. It is going to absolutely destroy your account. The reason I say that is because they want you to spend your currency on this. You can use free currency. It's not paid currency to get through this. But the odds are not stacked in your favor at all. They're just not. Look at this. Like, it's really not stacked in your favor. The only way you even get the ultimate prize, a probability of getting it, is after you do the third wish. After you do the third wish, when your fourth wish pops up, then you have the chance to get the skin. It's not the character, it's just the skin. And the skin, it doesn't matter, man. Like, it's an aesthetic thing. It's straight up just an aesthetic thing. It does look great, I'm not gonna lie. It's a really, really nice skin. It's amazing. It's an amazing skin. I won't lie to you. But is it worth it? Heck no. You have way more things that you can spend your currency on. And like I said, you should just be stockpiling this stuff. You should not be using it for anything else. Just don't. Do not use it for anything else. It's not worth it. I promise you it's not worth it. You're better off using your currency for just progressing through the game and pushing Tower of Conquest, because this is where you're going to get most of your your gear anyway, your supplies, get legendary gear. Don't summon on that weapon banner. They make it so easy for you to just go through here, and I haven't went through here yet just because there's so many other things to run through. But as you go through here, you get rewards. They'll give you currencies and all that stuff. When you get the clears, you see they're giving you, they're pretty much handing it to you, your supplies that you want. And it gets, as you see, it gets better. From where it begins, it gets better. You just run up here, boom, now you get to legendary gear. So with it, like from where you start to here, you should pretty much be pushing for this, and it resets. So when it resets, you go back down to whatever floor you initially cleared. So right here, I'm on 3-1. Let's say I just stay on 3-1 and I don't finish anything. It's going to set me back here. It's going to set me back here. If I don't clear this, whatever stage I go from initially, that's where it's going to set me back to. You can sweep back up to where you are, technically, where it's going to be like two levels before then. So 3-1, probably like 2-5 or 2-4 from what if I'm understanding this properly. So that's what it says here. So let's, like, you know. Yes. After it refreshes, whatever your highest recorded floor is, if you don't clear any stage on that floor, you're going to drop 2 floors after the refresh. If you clear any stage, you just drop 1 floor. So if you leave it on 3-1, I guess it's saying like, yeah, you're just going to go back to 1-5, which is nuts. It's actually pretty gross. So you should, you know, attempt to do so. But once you finish up to floor 10, you just go to floor 9, and then here are the rewards that you get, which it says this is what the preview is. It's this, what they're talking about here is this stuff. This is what they're talking about, based off of how far you clear into it. So that's great. I think that's great. And these, I would say they're adequately difficult, but you mainly use the terrain to your advantage, and you don't overly push. You'll just get your units destroyed. That's another thing that I would say, unless your characters are like well over the the level of the enemies and geared past the like what they can do to you, don't use auto at all. It's actually a trap. It's going you're not going to do well. Like, you can do it to push story, but you're gonna have to redo it anyway to get the stars. So it's not even worth it. This game's not auto friendly. They don't have any tactics set up, and I don't know if they improved the auto system past that point, but yeah, man, it's just not good, like, at all. I have no idea why. But here's the battle pass. There's decent stuff in here. It's pretty. It's mainly the legendary trinkets and the primordial dust. I get, like, the Luxite's not really what you're in here for. It's really just these materials, the radiant powders and the common experience, which, I'll be honest, it might seem like it's scarce in the beginning. You don't run out of this stuff. They give you a surplus of that. They give you a surplus of character experience. And the radiant powder itself, it's like, it's not that much. What I will say is, it's incredible. This right here is, it's actually one, like, it's great that they have this set here instead of, you know, locked behind the paywall. So you hit 25, which, I mean, you can do this within a few days. This is day technically this is day 3. It's day 2. I say it's day 2 just because, like, yeah, launch. There's 4 hours. It's 2 days and 4 hours. Basically, it's about to be 2 days and 4 hours and like 40 minutes in the time of where I'm recording this video. So to be able to get a random legendary weapon within that time period, and I already got one from Arena. It's mainly for healers, which is, you know, that's good. I have the free-to-play one that you get through a means in which I'll show in a second. And then you get your trinkets here. They're calling it the Terror Whispers, but I'm gonna call them your trinkets. It's your accessories. So you get your main weapon, you get your defense weapon. I mean your defense item, and then your accessory, whatever you want to call it. And then from there, it's like once you get to like 35, it seems like it's just materials in bond charms, which is pretty nice. This is actually really good. Castalia is really good. It's mainly to get yourself more skills when you upgrade your ranks. So that's nice. But like 50, it's pretty much done. But really 35 is like the bulk of it. And then up to 40, up to 36 onwards to 50 is just, you know, what you saw there. So I would honestly say, like, just playing every day, you're gonna get through this. You're gonna get through a lot of this stuff. It says weekly quest, but they mean daily. Well, it is weekly, but it's like you do this stuff daily, so you're gonna run through it, you know, through the week. Is basically what they're saying. So you need to be doing everything. You need to be doing everything, and once you do that, you get all this stuff. So it's nice. They're saying this is the possible rewards that you can get from here. I would say, depending on what characters you have, you might want certain things. For me, I'm looking for the spear for Gloria, just because she doesn't have a weapon yet. I already have a legendary for Mytha, so this would mainly be for like Butterfly. And then, you know, whatever characters you have, like Fakel, this would be great. And then there's the staff, which is the healing, which I don't need because I already have a legendary. So hopefully not that one. Hopefully. But there's that. Then you also, so you start out with 2 legendary. Well, they're not legendary, but the one for Beryl is, the one for Cole is not. It's the tier is different, but it's, I mean, it's a pretty decent looking skin, I guess. It just shows her face, not really anything too crazy. The rewards in here, nothing, you know, I wouldn't say there's anything too crazy to write home about. Like they give you her signature weapon. I guess you can call them signature weapons, but other characters can use them. It's funny that Mytha is able to dual wield this. I guess because she has a sword and shield, they count that. And then you get this this special defensive item for. Technically, you get it for Cole. These are for assassins, basically, which is really nice. And then you get a whole bunch of accessories and other stuff here. It's mainly for the trinkets that you're doing this. Trinkets, and if you like Cole, half Cole. If you like in half Cole, then I guess you would buy that, but for free-to-play players, it's not really too much there. What you're really looking for, not this. There's the one. There we go. Voyage, Momento. So this is where you're gonna spend most of your time. Anyway, in the game, you're gonna be doing. Excuse me. You're gonna be doing all of these here. So you're gonna get this. So there's really no reason for you not to summon on the beginner banner. You get soul shards for Mytha, which is nice. To upgrade her to star level 2, which is huge because her passive gets an increase, which is very nice. Then you get a weapon for her, which is nice. And here's where I'm at, which I can do this, which I'm going to end up doing this. I'll have it done by the next reset. So because I was like a little slow on the first day, I don't actually have all this stuff unlocked. I was mainly pushing story instead of pushing the Voyage Momento, which is honestly what you should be doing. Suppression, just to mention this, Suppression is like one of the best tanks in the game, if not the best tank in the game. And the reason for this is because his basic attack is debuffing, which is nuts. I don't know if you can increase the speed tiers because they seem to be locked already. I'm not sure how you increase or decrease like the speed tiers for characters, but so not only is he like super defensive, as you can see, he's a bit more physically defensive than magically defensive, but he makes up for that in having one of his ranks. That's his abilities being able to reduce the damage taken, which is huge because that's usually how you get rid of the tanks, right? So that's pretty good. It's a it's a tank that does physical damage but does magical damage based off of the physical damage that they have. So it's a magic attack dealing tank, which is pretty good. They also have a heal, and they have stat increases, which is like nuts. And then they can also, if you want, to passively increase their, HP. So you just get that from playing the games. But then you also get, I'm sure everyone saw Raria, and it's like, yeah, I like that. It might just be me, but she is like everything a bruiser wishes to be. She's great. I don't see a reason why you wouldn't just love to have this character. She heals passively each turn. When she gets hit, she's able to do the same thing. Whatever HP she lost, she recovers it. And then she also gives herself damage reduction and increases crit. So you basically want to build her as a destructive bruiser. You want to build into crit and crit damage. She just baseline gets a damage increase of 25%. The only thing is she gets bodied by Cole and even the other assassin that you get, the default one, the epic one. She gets destroyed by blue characters. Let me just say that blue assassins, it specifically, absolutely just demolish her. If they get close to her, if they backstab her and they're built to one shot, she's getting one shot. She's not living that. It doesn't matter what you build her as, she is going to get one shot. Unless you have a disgusting amount of support behind her. And I do mean, like, she has to have a shield. If she doesn't have, and they might break through the shield, to be honest with you. But she's gonna need a shield of some kind to survive that onslaught. She gets destroyed. I'm sure if you build her properly, like if you build her to be on a like a tankier side, like a berserker / bruiser build, if you build her like that, I think she can live, and then she's able to like get this HP back, and then just like clean up house. Cause you can, she is strong enough to where she could kill a blue character if they're not shielded. If they're shielded, I don't know what she's gonna do. Just being honest. She has a knockback built into her regular attack, so she's like a good cheese character. So you could build her tanky as hell and just cheese people, like bait them into heading over to ledges. I don't know how she's gonna like. It's really gonna be up to the play if they have live PvP. As far as what we have now in the launch, I don't see any live PvP. I don't know what China and Taiwan has, but right now there is none. So if she gets hit by an active attack, she automatically ripostes. So she's gonna deal the damage back. If she activated her passive before this, she's going to kick them back by 2 tiles, so they could actually screw themselves if they try and get her. If they don't knock her off and she retaliates and you happen to be by a ledge, you can actually screw yourself. So it could actually help. Like, you could probably bait a blue assassin into attacking you at a certain space, and then when they activate, they're active. If they're not smart and do it from the side or wherever it is, like away from the ledge, which most human players are going to do. But the computer, the AI is pretty dumb, so they're gonna hit you. They're gonna hit you, and they're gonna screw it up. So there's a lot of ways to cheese with this character. I like this character, the way they play. Like, it actually takes a lot of skill to like use this Raria. So if you got her through your summons and you're not happy with her, you probably don't know how to pilot her, or she just might not be your type of character, because everybody has a play style. You might be a ranged. Yeah, I would say just like whatever playstyle you think you want to have. Unless you're spending money, if you're a free-to-play player, you just gotta pilot whatever the game gives you. Because you really want to make sure like you're saving your currency. You really do. But she gets this, she hits them, and this ends up shifting into different abilities when you hit them. And there's like, this is like, reaction skills are basically the riposte, I'm pretty sure. So if characters have like any ability that would, because there's cloaks, there's shields and parries and all that stuff, she just gets rid of that. So it's actually, if she gets in and does damage, any green characters, they're not living. Any red characters, they're not living. Squishy characters, they're not living. It does a lot of damage. That swipe that she has does ridiculous damage. So this is good. Like, you really just want to build her as tanky as you possibly can so she can take hits, and then incorporate the offensive portion of it, because you want her to do damage. You just don't want her to sit there and take hits and not do damage. The whole point of the character is to come in, absolutely decimate the battlefield, and then you support her as soon as you possibly can. So she does have skills built in to where she can help herself. So she also has an aura. Characters have auras in the game where their factions, they get buffs based upon whatever whatever it is that you have on the field. That's what they get increased by. So like, Sword of Convallaria, excuse me. Sword of Convallaria allies, that would be Raria, Fakal, and Mytha, and then they get this buff right here. So whatever your faction is, that's what you get. This is what you're gonna start off with, though. This is later. This is what you start off with. That's what you get. And then you get her weapon. You get a weapon for her, rather. And then you get buffs. You get buffs for the characters. You get stuff for the characters. Eventually, you get to a point where you're gonna, you know, it's pretty much RNG on which ones you get. And then here you can pretty much choose one of these three to get more dupes for them. And then the last bit right here is more summons. And you get a bunch. This one you can actually choose your accessory / trinket, whatever it is that you want. Pretty good. And then this here you choose from, like, again, one of these, and you can get them right through your summons, which is pretty nice. And then you get more summons. This is basically like the victory lap stuff, and then like you can choose your weapon here, which is the last one. So overall, it's pretty good. You just have to play through the game. It's actually fairly free-to-play friendly. You just have to make sure that you're doing everything in the game, essentially. Not to, you know, you want to be doing the memory recoveries and stuff. Like, whenever it's unlocked, that's basically when you want to do it. So for this, you want to be doing that. You want to be doing the level up training whenever it's available. You're more than likely just not gonna have to use this, but you do have to do this for the missions. So all of these, the weaponry trials, all of these trials here, you see I've run through the majority of them. This unlocked today because I'm level 25. I've done all of them up to this point except the one that just came out. And you're gonna need to do all of these anyway, just so you get the materials. Also, if you were wondering, the extra reward, when you clear this, once it's cleared, that's when you get the extra rewards. After you, whatever stars you have, doesn't matter. The second you cleared it, that's when you do it again, and then you get the extra rewards there. Excuse me. So let's say I do this here, then I sweep it after, then the extra rewards disappear. So if you were wondering, how do I do such and such, that's how you do it for all of these. Whenever it says extra rewards here, the way that you do it, like here you see that this one doesn't have it. The reason this one doesn't have it is because I've already swept. I've already swept today, so that's what you basically need to do. You need to make sure that you're doing all of these, but make sure you have a healthy balance between doing these and pushing through the story. I highly recommend you push through the story first, and then as like a secondary, you focus on the voyage, because you're naturally going to get that no matter what. But you can definitely go through the fool's journey and then just barely touch the star trials and all the other trainings and trials here. And yeah, it's completely possible that you just don't do any of the trials, but eventually you're going to want to do this, because this is where you're going to get these weapons, and they cycle through every day. So you want to make sure you're getting them as high as you possibly can. And we have a golden opportunity here. So I would say you need to push through the story as soon as you possibly can, so you can unlock all of these as soon as you possibly can and get to this last one here. Because the last one is where you get the legendary gear. That's where you're going to be spending your time. Though I would say that's more so like an in-game thing. That's not really like I need to get this ASAP. It's more like a last resort sort of thing. So like at that point, you should probably be at a stage where if you are stuck somewhere, this is likely where you would get a boost. Another thing, your talent tree. Make sure you're going into your talent tree and using these abilities. If you are stuck as well, this is a way in which you can increase your character's abilities. This is why you also want to be doing the star trial, because this is the bulk of where you're going to have your buffs at. I would say for anyone just starting out, you probably are going to want to focus on the characters that you use on your main team and cycle through as swaps, as secondaries, as subs. So for me, I have defenders, I have watchers, and this is basically where the color classes come into play. So these are all watchers. So all the watchers get the buffs here on this path. So as you can see, you buff this, you're gonna increase the magic attacks for your watchers. So if you have any watchers with magic attack bonuses, or they're based on magic attack, that's what you want to increase. If they're based upon physical, that's what you want to increase. And then you just want all the stats. You really just want to fill this out, and you're going to fill this out eventually. Like, there's not that much to this. I would say like a month, at least a month's worth of just dedicated play, this should be filled out. Like, you should have at least one of these filled out, maybe even 2 or 3 of them, just because of like where it's set and like how much of the currency like you actually get. It's actually pretty good, and there are some pretty handy tactic skills that you get from here. You're going to run into tactics as well at some point. So there are some skills in here that are going to be really good for not only your regular play, and it might be like mandatory for regular play at some point. The enemies may get so ridiculous that you just need a buffer, like a shield, like a makeshift shield. This would basically count as a makeshift shield, so you can just tank a hit that you would normally like get obliterated by, or just to cover like a blind spot so you don't get obliterated. There's stock in building this up for more than just the stats, because you can use it offensively, or you can use it defensively, or for your for utility. Like, this flushes out way more based on the talent rating. So the higher the talent rating goes, the more nodes come out, the more that you unlock. So this is basically where the massive skill tree comes out to. Like, the game is pretty flushed out, actually. All things considered, the game's pretty darn flushed out from what I've seen in the first couple of days. And this is me with like, I have no knowledge of what the Chinese or Taiwan servers had. I don't know what the meta is. I just, from what I've seen through PvP and just simply like what the characters and their skills do, I've noticed like there's just some characters that are complete standouts, and others are a bit more niche to where you can build around them and they can excel, or you can just use characters that are, you can slot them in and they're just good. They're gonna be characters that are good for offensive pursuits. Let's say like arena or just pushing through the game, which I would mainly focus on. And then there are going to be some people who focus on the defensive aspect and start getting into, you know, a bit more of a sweaty portion in terms of like what the meta would be for like defense, because there is a tower defense element to PvP in that regard. So there is that. So the reason. All right, relax, bro. God, freaking Anya, bro. Golly. Anyway, the reason I was saying you don't want to use this currency right here, the reason you don't want to use your Luxites is because you have access to it. It unlocks so much. You can max out so much stuff. You can just buy this. And I just highly recommend, you don't need to buy these metals. I would say not, well, at least not these. You don't need these unless it's like, man, I gotta get this. And then the experience, you really only buy that if you really need it, like in the beginning. Like I said, man, you play through the game, you're not gonna need to buy any of that stuff. Like at most, you buy this so you don't. You buy this so you don't have to use your stamina, because stamina is going to be like really important. Not just in the beginning of the game or like the middle of the game, but like the entirety of the game. It's going to be really important how you manage your stamina and what you use it on. So you want a healthy supply of your Luxite so you can just come into this shop. It's unlimited. There's no limit to it. So you can't just be like, oh man, I got this much, I can't get any more. Nope. It's as much as you want, right? As many as you can purchase. The only time it's going to be limited is if you come in and it says these attempts right here. So you get 2 of them and it's going to refresh. There's no refresh here. That's how you. That's the difference, right? That is the difference. And they do this for a reason. Like, there is stock. There's more stock in certain things than there are others. So they have it set up like that for a reason. And this here is like, I'd imagine like this has some sort of reset at some point. It probably comes when you. There's okay, so like you come in here, they have resets for this stuff, but it doesn't seem like there's any resets for these. So once you get these, that's it. Which it makes sense because you can choose the legendary weapon that you want to get from this, and then you can choose the character that you want to get from this. So you can get a Beryl, you can get a Dandelion, you can get a Waria, a Lily Will, or whoever it is that you wish to get from here, right? Again, priority Beryl, Cole, like I said before, Ayana, well, Inanna, yes, Inanna. So Beryl, Cole, Inanna, and Gloria is the current one, but if she wasn't here, then it's just those 3. Cole, Beryl, and Inanna. And then the other ones is basically like, it's up to you which you want. But those are like the main 3, where else I was like, yeah, those are really good characters. I'd imagine, I don't know. I was gonna say I'd imagine there's some tier lists out there that would say those 2 are top tier, but I don't know because I haven't looked at any tier lists. So, but again, like there's just some standout characters where you know. So yeah, yeah, I don't believe there's too much else to cover. Like outside of that, this video is already long enough. And if there's like anything in particular I feel like could use its own video that I could talk about as I play more of the game, then I'll cover that. But outside of that, that's pretty much it. If you were wondering how you change your character banner, you have to unlock the bond mode first, and then you use your bond trinkets to get the character to bond level 2. It only needs to be level 2 for you to get the avatar for them. You see I have it for her and not Mytha, Fakal, the SSRs that I have, or any other characters, right? So if you want the avatar for that specific character model that you have there, unless it's something that you specifically buy, you have to unlock it through means of the bond, which you increase your bond through playing with the character, but it's only like plus 30 or 300 or whatever it was. I think it was 300. Hopefully it was 300. If it was 30, like, they just don't want you, which is pretty stupid. If I'm being honest, like the one thing that they kind of like held back on is like, you want this avatar? Well, you gotta, you gotta do this. But I will say that they do give you enough materials to just straight up bond level to the character, and there's merit to bonding the character because you get stats from it, right? So that's important. As you can see, these are the factions. This is how you know who belongs to what area. These are these characters, and they're going to show the ones that you own. Here's the Union. So for me, I have my Gloria up. I'm likely going to upgrade Tempest as well. I was using Might. I found Tempest to be a much better character as far as what I wanted them to do, which is like follow-up attacks and AoE spams and, you know, being able to just cleave and clear. So, excuse me. That's what they excel at. I haven't used Lightning yet. They seem like an interesting character. I just haven't gotten around to using them. The Popple States seem like they're pretty darn evil from what I see. And there's, you know, excuse me. There are the other characters. You have the ne'er-do-wells, which, you know, there's nobody there. And you have some mercenaries. And then you have this faction, which would consist of, you know, certain things. So this is like the main cast that you were running. But this is why it's important, because you get the attribute bonus. And 5% to all attributes may not seem like a lot, but that's actually quite a bit. As you get stronger, you're going to notice it more. Having it and not having it, you'll notice it a heck of a lot more. Especially when it comes to like crunch time. When it comes down to stuff like arena or even like other game modes, you're gonna notice it more. So I would say make sure you hold on to your bond charms, because they're pretty scarce. I imagine like with events, like you'll get 1, maybe 2 per event, so it's actually like really important. And I understand why they do that, because it's only up to rank 5. It's not like it's like, you know, rank 20 or something out the gate. So you want to use this sparingly. I know it says press and hold. I just tapped this, right? You see that? I just tapped it again. Look how much it uses. So whenever you do that, and make sure you're aware, like if you're really close, just tap it. Even if you're not really close, tap it. You're gonna run through that way quicker than you realize, and you don't really get that much of it. So yeah, that's pretty much everything. That is Sword of Convallaria. Convallaria, excuse me. That name is like, it's gonna take some getting used to. Can you tell that I've only been playing this like a few days and I've only pronounced that just now? But thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. Please feel free to leave a like, comment, share, subscribe, all that wonderful stuff. It greatly helps out the channel, and I appreciate you all greatly for doing so. With that being said, if I didn't say it already, make sure to not summon on these other things. If you're not a whale, okay? If you're not a whale, don't summon on this, and don't summon on this. Yes, you can alternate between them, but I mean, they're both on there. But it's like, if you want a specific one to be rated up, I guess you would click their portrait and do so. So if you're, which is, I think that's nuts, but don't summon on that. Don't summon on the standard banner. Don't summon on these weapon banners, because you're going to get them regardless. And this is just way too much RNG. Did you see that? Do you, like, if you're looking for a specific one, you're better off just trying to farm it on a specific day and just waiting until you're level 30, free to play or not. Like, even as a whale, I just would not recommend you doing that. There's a lot more merit in maxing out a character than there is a weapon. Like, if you're weapon maxing, you are a stupendous, you are a freaking, you are a killer, you are a killer whale, basically. But yeah, man, that's it. That's all there is. Make sure above all else, you make sure this never gets full. Ever. Don't ever allow this to get full. Use this as much as you possibly can, and you should have no issues keeping up at a semi-decent rate. With, doesn't matter if they're spending money or not, you can contend with them to some degree, as long as you're spending this wisely, right? So yeah, with that being said, thank you all for watching. I will see you all in the next video.